All right, guys, so last time we looked at this side to get ready for last week's quiz. So amazingly enough, we're going to look at this side now. This is the side dealing with hypothesis tests. This is the one that's going to be in the quiz this Wednesday or this Thursday, depending on which stats class you're in. So looking at this first one, it sounds familiar. I think I've sort of went over one sort of like this before. Pain reliever, it's known to bring relief in 16.1 minutes. A new drug is developed that brings relief in less time than the old one. Stop. I'm not going to read anymore at the moment because the only thing I'm worried about at first is the claim, right? So the claim is that the new drug takes less time to work than the old drug did. Dig? Sure. Let me get some more coffee. Hold on. Oh boy. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. So now we know that that is the claim. So let me write that in English, and let me write that in Mathish. I get those two mixed up. We think that mu is less than 16.1. So yeah, it might be a good idea. Once you identify what the claim is, sort of stop reading, because then you will less likely include a number like 13.7 in the hypotheses, which should not come in yet. That is the sample. What do you call it? That's the sample mean. Oh boy, I should have done this yesterday, but too bad. So that does not have an equal sign, so it would definitely be H1, which means that it's going to be a one-tailed test less than, so it's going to be one-tailed test down there. All right, so I'm not going to fill in a lot of details. You guys can do that. It's just giving general ideas. Z or T, so I got to see two things. Is it normally distributed? And sure enough, there's 41. So N is greater than 30. And which standard deviation do I know? It is known that the standard deviation for all relief time, okay, I know sigma, so therefore I can use Z-scores. Cool. So then on part C, so there's the two things, right? You got to check two things. One, you always got to check two things. The first thing is it normal enough? Second thing is, which standard deviation do I know? If it's not normal enough, I can't do anything. Aw. So on part C, we know alpha is 0.05. I know sigma, so I know I can use Z-scores, and I know it's a one-tailed test, right? So you look that bad boy up on the T-score chart. You guys do it. I'm not going to do it for you. And then here I'm being really, really nice, I guess. I actually told you it was going to be a Z-score. Oh, well, too bad. One thing I haven't said yet is I'm never going to ask you to find a p-value for a t-score because the t-score chart was nowhere near as detailed as the z-score chart. Anyway, summarize the sample information. So I know that the sample mean was 13.7. We do this in blue. Sample mean is 13.7. Okay, that was supposed to be blue. Yeah. I know that the sigma is 5.04, so I'm going to have to change that. I'm going to have to divide by the square root of n. And then I know that I'm assuming that the real mean is 16.1. So my z star will be my data, 13.7, minus the supposed middle, 16.1, divided by the new standard deviation I get, 5.04 divided by the square root of 41. Right, so that's the Z star. Woohoo! Bop, bop, bop. And then whatever that is, whatever my Z star is, the p-value is just the area in the tail it makes. In this case, since my Z star is negative, when I look it up, I'm going to get the p-value directly. I don't have to do 1 minus because it tells me the area below. Then I can figure out my conclusion. Did that get it? Did I get in? Wait a second, let me do this over. I can't do it over now. Oh well, too bad. Everything's going to shift. We're going to somehow deal with it. Did I get into the rejection region or out of the region? Oh, I guess not everything. Good. right? Did I get in there or not in there? Did I find evidence to reject the null, or did I not find enough evidence, so I failed to reject the null? Depends on where that falls, and I just don't know yet. Oh, I gotta do the test to do it. Who knows? I'm gonna leave right there for now. And then, I'll let you guys think about this. Number 5 is the new type with percentages, and I promised I wouldn't do that yet. And that's not going to be in the quiz this week because we just did that. But if I ever do this, if I give you a hypothesis test with all the 5 steps and then another one, well, just do all the 5 steps. You already know what they are. They're all right here. I'm not going to make you memorize them, but I will make you go get them. So number 5, don't just suddenly do whatever you feel like. You still have to do the 5 steps. You always have to do the 5 steps. So let's talk about this one here. Type 1 and type 2 errors. So for number 4, I could either reject the null. Let me see. Let me go ahead and write what the null is going to be. Well, I'm just going to tell you in general what the type 1 and type 2 errors. Type 1 is reject a true null. So what you could say is whatever you write down in the null, if the null was mu at least 10, then the type 1 error would be we reject that mu is at least 10 when in reality it is at least 10. That's it. That's it. So again, let me say another one. If the null was the mean equals 7, then a type 1 error would be we reject that the mean is 7 when in reality the mean is 7. That's it. That's why it's an error. Because, and the thing is, why do we make mistakes with this kind of thing? Isn't math supposed to always come out, black and white? No. That's why I love statistics. There's always a chance that I'm wrong. There's always a chance that I'm wrong because I'm basing my results on a sample. That's why we get so elated when we have an entire population. There's no guesswork there. But normally I can't get an entire population. So I've got to use a sample and do the best I can. Type 2 then would be the other possibility. If I fail to reject the null when it's actually false. So if I fail to find evidence that the null is wrong, but in reality, it's wrong. Okay. So this is a very short and sweet one. Number 5, again, you can look at it on the answer key. This is going to be the one that's going to be next week. Hypothesis test on next week is going to be percentage hypothesis tests, at least. Maybe we'll see what else I might try to sneak on there. All right, so that's enough. So I did this one before. I didn't give you answers here, but I gave you answers already. They're up on Canvas. You can just look at the answers. And that's enough for now. All right, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Let me stop sharing. Video's off, thank God, because I'm not really camera ready. All right.